What's going on, everybody? This is your host, Vinny, or welcome to Vinny's Corner. I'm your host, Vinny. This is my boy, Cove. How's everybody doing this evening? Cove, what's going on, brother? Well, I'll say this now that we're on the air and live streaming. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait until other people are on here and really looking so I can point out 7 inches of Cove tonight because that's the most ridiculous shit that I've seen in so long. Anywho, what's going on, brother? So 2025 is almost a wrap, right? So tonight, I guess the plan for us is a bit of a wrap ourselves, right? What the biggest moments of 2025 have been. You all right over there, brother?
Oh yeah. It's the good shit.
Would you say that's the good shit?
Yeah.
Oh, you're fun. Dude, so 2025 as a whole, obviously, right, there's a lot of stuff. The year kind of starts out sports-wise, at least for us in the U.S., right? It starts out with NFL playoffs, the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how the sports year kicks off. Last season, the Chiefs, in what was, I think, their 6th consecutive Super Bowl appearance. 7th?
Oh,
okay.
Fifth. No, they had 5 Super Bowls in 7 seasons. They were 7 straight AFC. That's what it was.
Okay. Right. And so they ended up getting their butts kicked, right? So that was how we started out 2025. Do we give that? Is that one of our moments, our top 25 moments of the year, the Chiefs dynasty? Now in retrospect, I would say, you know what I'm saying? Right now that we know Mahomes just tore his ACL,
and LCL.
So it looks like the Chiefs dynasty. Now we're looking at it like, oh my God, the Chiefs dynasty might be over. If it is in fact over, just I guess, do we look back at that moment as one of those that's the inflection point, right? Where everything changed. They had.
I think people will still have it in their top 25, but I really don't. After seeing basically the Eagles, they're not the same team. The KC Chiefs are not the same team. It's not really a top moment because the team didn't continue to dominate. They just almost had the Super Bowl curse, right?
But you can't. Okay, so the Eagles didn't continue to dominate this season, 100%. But the moment for me, right, is the moment that the Chiefs dynasty ended. We didn't. Here's the thing: we didn't know it at the time.
No, we didn't know at the time. But what I'm getting at is the Chiefs dynasty didn't win it, so they didn't get their three-peat. So I still wouldn't put it as, if they got the three-peat, it would be a top moment, but a top 25 moment for me this year. But not when the Chiefs didn't three-peat.
Well, I think the moment is the Eagles I don't know. I just thought that was such a dominant Super Bowl win, but I mean, listen. I get it. Everybody does not look at it the same. And so this is I think this is what's cool about this is that this is this is something that's fluid, right? We talk about it, we talk through it, and what moments for us. For instance, the biggest moment in sports for me in 2025 was Canelo losing to Crawford and Crawford ultimately retiring, right? That's probably my biggest moment in 2025, but that's not the biggest moment in 2025, right? It might be in the top 25. So it's just one of those things. So there are
my top, like you just said, yours was Canelo. Mine had to be Game 7 in the World Series.
Game 7 in the World Series was incredible. So now, okay. So here's a question: Is it like is it one moment, right? Winning or Game 7 of the World Series, right? To win the World Series and go back to back. That was just such an incredible game. Um, the fact that they went back to back, the Dodgers, right? It
Yeah.
very cool moment. And so that was the thing, right? Like, what was I doing this morning? I was just sending you text messages like moments that were like off the top of my head, like, oh, what about this one? What about this one? Like, it's a
Yeah.
lot of things that happened
Yeah.
in 2025. Um,
Well, this is why I have it as 25 questions, and it's going to be a couple questions for everything, so it kind of pulls your brain to think about every kind of sport known out there.
so let's use the questions. Let's try and do it that way because right, I'm all over the place. I
Yeah.
just start throwing out ideas,
Yeah.
right?
That's why I said essentialize that with 25 questions for 25 moments. Maybe there's some of these moments are in these 25 questions.
All right, let's see what it is.
So we'll
Either
start with
way, sir.
hockey first. So we'll start with hockey first. The Florida Panthers repeated as 2025 champions, beating the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games. What made this back-to-back run so special for Florida fans?
I mean, so like I think for me, right? So they were unsuccessful once, right?
Yeah.
Then they came
What?
back
Yeah.
and did the thing, right? Then they came back and won again.
Yeah.
So like I think that the way that this process has started for this team, like this core of players, right? Um, it's like it's been like a steady progression, right? They got better and better and better. They faced defeat before they didn't make it, then they made it and lost, then they made it and won. Then right, like it was a process for them. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like this is like watching like a real dynasty in the making, right? Over time.
Yeah.
And that for me is why I think it was such a special one because of that. And then you have like the individual stories like Marshawn going to the team and there were a lot of little things, but that was what it was for me. I think is just watching the process of this team, Florida, over the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Mhm.
What do you
So
think?
with all that, this is the team, and you've known me for a couple years now, and you've always told me you love Florida. It's just there was just something about the way that team was built to be that 3 times Stanley Cup finalists, but they're 4 times before because they lost to the Avalanche in '95. But this team is way differently because like when I started liking this team, it was like 2015. I saw something that was changing with this team, and um, so I mean, now that they've three-peated, going to the finals, won it twice, um, and now you look where they're now. It's like they're just not the same team because they don't have certain players right now. They've had certain players leave here, there, in there for personal reasons, and I just don't know if I can believe that this team is going to go to its fourth Stanley Cup final. It'd be like the Islanders who went 4 straight, but they went 4 straight. So I wouldn't compare them the same. But this is a team that I did believe could be 4 straight, but today not so much.
It's really gonna come down to everybody getting healthy and how
Yeah,
quickly they can all get on the same page once they are,
I
because
know. But you're still not gonna have Barkov in the playoffs, and I mean I love Florida. They're a talented bunch, but without Barkov in the playoffs, it's going to be interesting depending on how they match up.
I mean, I can see why you say that, but you got to also consider, they've got Reinhardt. They've got a Bennett. Like it's not like they have this one awesome guy and don't have other
No, no,
pieces.
no. That's what
This
I
is a
mean. Like
fairly
this team is
complete roster,
complete. This is a complete
100%.
roster. But I just feel like Barkov's one of those players they need in the playoffs for those games, those game fives, those game sixes that are really nitty gritty. It's
He's
you
like
kind of need that player.
yeah, like a Leon Draisaitl.
Mm.
Yeah,
You just
like
need that player. I mean,
yeah,
look how Toronto has played since with Mitch going over to Vegas. A lot has changed because of one player.
dude, it's that one's a really interesting one because we didn't know how that was going to work when we talked about it beforehand, and
Hmm.
it's been interesting. Like I feel like the Maple Leafs, I think it's hurt the Maple Leafs way more than they anticipated it would.
Yes.
And it's just that was that was an interesting, and like the way that whole trade happened, where there were like tamper rumors going on and everything else with VGK. But to see him then, to see the trade be completed, everything go through, they're or not the trade, but then to see them go ahead and sign him.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I keep saying trade, but they go and sign him, right? And this has been fantastic
Yeah.
so far, I think, for the Golden Knights, not so much for the Maple Leafs. So, but that was kind of an interesting, like in hockey, that was
Yeah.
kind of a moment. Like that trade was a bit of a moment. That was a headline grabber for a while.
Oh, just for nice shits and giggles tonight. It it wasn't ready because it's not cold enough, but this will give you the perspective. This is a real Lysol bottle, like a real Lysol bottle. But I have a drink in the fridge that looks like this and a clean Lysol bottle. So for the whole show,
Listerine.
I was gonna drink out of the bottle that was act like Kool Aid, but it would look like Listerine. I just didn't get it done for tonight.
That's an interesting one, but I'll need to see a video when you do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just blue Kool Aid. Just looks. You just drink it out of a Listerine bottle that's been cleaned, and it
What
just looks like you're drinking Listerine, but it's not. It's actually Kool Aid.
what made you decide that you wanted to do this? What
Oh, I was just first shits and giggles. I was
Fair
more or
enough.
less gonna screw with the girlfriend about it. I was gonna send the girlfriend a video of me drinking it, and she'd be like, "What is wrong with you?"
Oh yeah, that would be a little hectic. She might reconsider everything. Oh no,
Yeah,
this guy is crazy.
yeah.
He's drinking. He
So,
is really drinking alcohol.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Panthers star Sam Bennett had one of the best playoff runs in franchise history. How does this Conn Smythe worthy performance rank among biggest moments of the postseason?
Um. So I okay. That's an interesting one. I think that like it was one of those performances that like okay, so in the moment there were a lot of people on that team doing a lot of things.
Mhm,
So when it got to who's going to get the MVP, it
mhm.
was like we're not sure. Different. Everyone kind of threw out a different name. Everyone. It wasn't just like everyone was like Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like when you kind of went back and talked about the Stanley Cup final after the fact, and each round of it, it was like, wow, Sam Bennett really kind of showed up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it.
Game
He hadn't.
tying, game. It was more or less his game tying, game winning, being really out there when it mattered to
It was
change
when,
the
yeah,
outcome of the
exactly,
game.
clutch.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what it became about the Conn Smythe, about him winning. It was just it defined. That's what I was talking about. Being Barkov being gone, I was saying that. and such as Bennett not being there, such a key moment, key player you need at that moment, and without that, it's not saying it's difficult or hard to, it's just saying it's just more. Uh, it's a little bit harder. That's all it is. Just a
The
little bit
heavier
harder,
lift.
but at the end of the day, these boys could still they could win their third straight Stanley Cup this year, and be like, we didn't have Barkov. Kachuk's kind of been here. They could say anything and be like, look, we still win because their team is complete, like the Dodgers are. Same thing.
Well, why do
The
you
Dodgers
think?
are so complete that it doesn't matter if guys go down,
That's true. That's true.
and you
Absolutely.
don't have to be the best team in the league. I mean, right now in 2025, the Avalanche doing are amazing. They're like 23-2.
Oh, they're awesome.
Like they're on a run. So we can't forget about them. But it's gonna be 2026 before we see what they do, because they will be the second team going into, for North America to win a championship at that point. Like, if it's not before NBA. So
Um,
to move over to the baseball, as we were talking about it. So Los Angeles Dodgers clinched the 2025 in a dramatic Game 7. What does this back-to-back title mean for their dynasty status?
I mean, so okay, here is the way that this is like where I am on dynasties, and I think that they might still clear this. Um, a dynasty to me is a team that wins 3 titles within a
Mhm.
5-year span, at least.
2020, 2023, 24, and 2025. There's your
Yes,
three.
and that's what I'm saying. So they are like the 2020. A lot of people forget about that one, but this is a dynasty. They just didn't know they added the last piece to the cog, that being Shohei Otani.
Mhm.
A couple of years ago now, and they went from a team that won a World Series to a dynasty. You
Mhm.
know, it's pretty. It's actually been it's been pretty exciting to watch. Um, from like an outside standpoint, like, yes, like, I'm a Yankees fan. I'm very frustrated by the fact that my team has not spent like they are spending in LA to get the players done, et cetera, et cetera. That we lost to them, not this last World Series, but the World Series before that. Um, all of those things are very much true and easy to feel, but like, just being objective, like, it's pretty cool to see. There's no other way to say it. You know what I mean? Like, we watched them 2 years ago. Like, half the team was like they had like a piecemeal bullpen, and their starters were pitching 2 innings. You know what I mean? But they made it through an entire playoff, and they beat people up. They came back last season with more of a game plan. It's just been interesting to watch this team. And it's hard to not like, if you like good baseball, like, they're a really good baseball team to watch play. So,
Mhm.
it's hard to not enjoy. But I definitely like the back to back, and the dynasty. The 3 and 5. Like, for me, like, that's huge. Like,
Mhm.
I think that like that's a lot of
Oh,
people.
I mean, it defines a dynasty in every which way, because not even years ago, not even years before that, they were 2 years before that, they were in this the World Series, by 2 years in a row, just before that. So, like, they've been to the World Series quite a few times and won handful of times in the last 5 to 10 years. So,
Give me
like,
1 second. My wife
these
just turned
guys
on
are
the heat.
having, yeah, these guys have had an amazing 7 to 10 year of rebuilding this team to be the dynasty they are today.
I'm sorry, dude. My wife just turned on the heat on me. It was so hot. It was so hot. I had to go turn that off. I wasn't I wasn't handling that very well. I was like,
So yeah. So the 18 inning classic in game 3 of the World Series was one of the longest games in history. How do marathon moments like this shape a championship narrative?
I mean, it's cool, very impressive, but like for me, like that wasn't like I don't know, that wasn't the moment.
So game 3 being the 18 inning classic or game 7, do you still take game 7?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, that's how I feel about it, right? I
Yeah.
If you didn't bring up Game 3, I wouldn't have thought about it.
Yeah.
When I think of that World Series, I think of Game 7. I don't think of Game 3. Game
I think a
3,
lot of people do think of game 3 because it's just how it out, churned out. Like I'm seeing if say like game 3 the Jays won, right? How would it change? Would they have went 7 if the Dodgers didn't win game 3?
but I mean, like the reality is, you could say that about every. Like
Oh,
we're
I
making a bigger
know.
deal out of that one because it was
Game
longer.
7 was insane because of the fact where they had a 4-2 lead, 4-3, and then literally in the ninth, out of nowhere, they get a home run, and then the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, one out, and he gets thrown out by inches, like like less than half an inch of a touch, and the Jays would have had a walk off World Series. Like, I mean, but then and then the home run the very next inning by the Dodgers, it was just the most insane 3 innings I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, it was a very it was a very good World Series. I don't like compared to the Yankees
Yeah.
Dodgers World Series the year before, which was
Mhm.
awful, and I'm a Yankees fan.
Mhm.
Awful World Series. This World Series was pure cinema from game 1 through game 7.
Yeah.
Incredible. The whole the whole playoffs was incredible.
I mean, the whole, yeah, I would say, yeah, the whole, but what would get you, what was more better for you, the NL side or the AL side of the playoffs?
I mean, I'm an AL guy, so for me, it's the AL. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a Yankees guy, so the AL is what I pay most attention to.
Hmm. But do you think the AL had better games on their side, or do you think the NL had better games on their side?
I think the AL had what much better games. The NL was awful. The NL was just the Dodgers walking through.
I mean, that surprised me, but didn't surprise me because it was Milwaukee's. They
Two
got
years
past
ago,
they got past the first round, but that was because they had a bye. But their first series after that, they were walked. Like,
listen, 2 years ago, this LA team faced the Mets and they faced the Padres, and they had a rough time. They had a
yeah,
really rough time. Getting through the
yeah,
National League was very hard,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
The Mets, they beat the Mets up, and then the next game, the Mets would come out and beat them up by 15 runs. Like,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, it was intense. Last year with the
Mhm.
Brewers and these guys, it was awful. Like, it was awful. There's never like
Oh,
there's never a doubt like where you watch the AL and you were like, oh my god, which
mhm.
team is it going to be? The NL,
Yeah,
it was just like the Dodgers.
yeah,
You know, like nobody really tested them at any point. Their only test was was the World Series,
yeah.
and it was awesome. It was a really good one, a very exciting World Series. I enjoyed that.
So,
The World Series was probably that might have been like for me that might have really been that moment for the year.
mhm.
Like I don't know, that
Yeah.
was a good one.
So that game 7 was my moment. NBA. Which NBA team delivered the most clutch moments in the season in 2025? And how did those narratives impact rivalries heading into 2026?
Well, listen, 2025 and 2026 alike, wrapped up as one thing, is all about
Mhm.
the Oklahoma City Thunder. Um, Last year, people were getting frustrated with SGA, but the
Mhm.
reality is, when you really pay attention to him, he is just a different animal. I've said this to other people. I do not care who agrees with me on this or not. Like LeBron is like an all time great. LeBron is, the second best player to ever do it.
Mhm.
MJ the greatest. But like MJ and Kobe are cut from like a specific cloth, like the kind of guy, like the way that they are on the court. The next guy like that is SGA.
Mhm.
Oklahoma City has just been OKC has been fantastic for me. But they were NBA was all about them. They've teams are building themselves differently because of OKC.
Mhm.
It's completely basketball is so back, and OKC has ushered that in.
Now, since they are what 24-2,
Yeah.
I mean, does this show how dominant they've been being winning their championship and then playing like this ever since?
Well, last season they won 68 regular season games. They
Mhm.
dominated the postseason. Then they showed right back up, and they've been almost lights out since. So we're
Mhm.
seeing a trend. There, almost anybody who had to pick at this point is going to pick them as the West representative in the NBA Finals this season. Um, I mean, anyone I knew, we were all talking about the NBA Cup. This is actually a great segue to the NBA Cup. And right,
You just
and the
want to
guys are
talk
like,
about your Knicks winning a championship.
no, it has nothing to do with that. The guys were like, listen, what are you going to do? Like, this kind of sucks. It's going to be the Knicks against OKC. Like, you guys are
Mhm.
obviously losing. And I'm like, fuck, you're right. We are obviously losing. And then all of a sudden, like the night of the game, me and like three guys are talking about it, and we all went and bet the Spurs, and the Spurs beat OKC. And I said, oh my God. Well, the Knicks are
Mhm.
going to beat the Spurs. They just weren't going to beat OKC. So, it was
Yes.
pretty cool. But that was like, but that's how good this isn't about the Knicks. What this is about is that's how good this OKC team is. This
Mhm.
OKC team is so good that before we ever got to the game, before they had even won and earned the right to play my team,
Mhm.
I had already conceded. I was like, damn, we already lost. Like, we're
Yeah.
playing these guys, it's over. And then the young upstart Spurs with that 7'9" Victor Wembanyama, they put OKC out. It was a pretty cool game. It was a good game to watch for sure. Very exciting.
So interesting enough, um, OKC is 24-2. They're 12-0 at home, 12-1 on the road, and on neutral they're 0-1. So it's only when they've been away from home. So if they had home, they might have won it because they're playing much better at home. But it is what it is, right?
And they're always going to have home field or home court advantage
Yeah.
because of how they're playing. So once we get to the tournament, that's going to be a problem for everybody else, not them. They
Yeah.
have incredible depth. They're they're so complete, that team. It's absurd. They're really absurd to watch. They played the first like 15, 18 games without Jalen Williams, like one of their
Yeah.
top three
Yeah.
players. And
Yeah,
now
I
he's
think
back.
they it was 20, it was like 21 or 21 games. I think they played 0 minutes together.
And then
And they
and
were
now he's
and
back.
they were like 21. Like and now they're 24-2. And so it's like meh. It
Yeah.
doesn't affect like
You know what I mean?
I've
That's how good
I've
they are.
seen speculation of they think they're gonna only end up with 6 losses this year.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Mhm.
I would enjoy like okay, here's obviously I'm a Knicks fan. It would be historic. My team is a historic franchise. We are not a championship franchise, but we are a historic franchise. I would love to see us win a championship. But if it's not going to be the Knicks that win it, I would love to watch OKC, have a historic season with the least amount of losses and win another chip back to back. I'd love to see this dynasty happen. I'm all for that. I think it's great for sport when that kind of stuff happens.
Now, for the next one, it's going to be interesting because it's just happened. But with LeBron James still active and young stars rising, which individual performance moment stands out the most this year? And unfortunately, it has to be Cooper Rush dropping 40, breaking a
Cooper
LeBron record.
Flag.
Cooper Flag, yeah. I was thinking down Dallas, Cooper Rush. Cooper Flag. Yeah, Cooper Flag dropping to 40, beating LeBron's record of 37 at the age of 18.
At age 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive. Hopefully this kid's going to live up to the hype.
Yeah. So asking you that kind of question, I'm like, that's the only one that comes to mind because of not just because he's a young star.
Oh,
I mean, anybody doing something that LeBron. Yeah. So, all right. So for the NFL, who do you think will host Super Bowl LIX in early 2026 based on the 2025 momentum, and which team's 2025 turnaround story deserves a spotlight?
Wait, dude, that's like I can't follow that question. Dumb that down for me. What are we talking about? What are you talking about?
Okay. I meant the way I wrote it. Who do you think will be in Super Bowl LIX, which is in 2026? Like,
wait,
who
no, hold on. Super Bowl. The number is LIX. That's the Super Bowl that just passed.
Yeah.
Super Bowl February 9th, 2025. It just happened. The Eagles just won Super Bowl LIX.
Well, I meant to add it to the next one. Like, who do you think will be in?
So who's going to win Super Bowl 60?
Yeah.
Who's going to be in it?
Yeah.
That's this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bro, that was the hardest. Like, what you turn that into a fucking SAT question?
Sorry.
Bro, I haven't. Okay. For those of you who don't know me that well, I have an actual master's degree and I used to be a teacher for several years. I couldn't interpret that question. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. You stumped me.
All right. Yeah.
I think I mean, like, right? The NFL script says that the LA Rams, continue the run. Matt Stafford wins the MVP. They win their second Super Bowl. And then he gets ready to ride off into the sun and retire, right? Isn't that? Yeah. I thought that was kind of the script. I don't know who they're going to play, though. They're going to play like a random team, though, like an upstart. It's going to be like Jacksonville or the Texans. It's not going to be the Bills. I know that much.
Okay. I mean, would you think this would be the year the Bills, because Chiefs are out, this was the year for the Bills to make it to the Super Bowl?
No, I don't think it's sustainable. Like, so the Bills, like the way that they just won the game, right? Their last couple of wins have been Josh Allen being forced to put on the cape again, week in, week out, because the defense is god awful. And I just don't know that that's going to be sustainable for another 2 or 3 regular season games. Then as of now, right, unless they win the division, unless they get the 1 seed, there's a very good chance they're going to have to go on the road at some point, right? Especially if they don't win their division. If they're a wild card, they're going to go on the road for the whole playoffs. There's no way they're going on the road with that defense and winning a Super Bowl. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be, but I just don't believe it's going to be because of the massive liabilities and who did like I don't know. I just don't like they could rely on their run game. Cook is an animal, absolute dog. Their quarterback is Superman, but their defense is just god awful. Like I don't know how else to say that.
I mean, early on, right now, straight now, and you see me post it in chat. Um, Early on, I have Pats versus Bears is my Super Bowl. I mean, I'm still stuck on that one, but it really depends on right now. Do the Bears beat the Pack this weekend? Like, that's. I think they kind of need to do that to show me that the Bears could go to the Super Bowl. They need to beat the They need to beat the Packers for
Um,
me.
why? I mean, I get it, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like just the way from what I've seen of them all season, like I'm at a
Where I'm
point I
getting
already
at
feel like that.
is they need to separate themselves in this division right now. Like they have to win this game to hold their division to how they for who their opponent will be going into the playoffs. If they lose to the Packers, I mean, right now that would put the Packers at 10-4-1 and then them at 10-5. So I mean, like you don't want that you don't want that to be that close getting down to the end in nitty gritty of the season, right? So the Bears need to win this game to really solidify their dominance in the NFC.
Oh, you're 100% right. I mean, the seeding difference,
Yeah.
for a wild card as opposed to a division winner, right?
Mhm.
Like they could move from the 1 seed or the 2 seed to the 5 seed, 6 seed.
Oh no,
Um, you know,
these guys could drop down to the 7 seeds. Like I've already looked at predictions. Like if the Bears lose this game, you know who they get first round? The Pats.
not the Pats. They couldn't.
Yeah.
Pats are
Yeah.
AFC. The
Oh,
Pats are
not Pats.
AFC.
Not Pats. Fucking who was it? They get the
Who's
Rams
this
like
guy?
right away or something like that. The
Who?
Rams, like thinking Seattle was gonna win, right? Saying
Guys,
Seattle was
don't
gonna win the
worry.
division. And
He's
Rams.
Canadian. It's just
Okay,
because
yeah, yeah.
he's Canadian.
I,
Don't mind.
yeah, okay. No, I was the Rams. I'm saying like they'll face the Rams, like because they
That would
like
be
it's.
bad
I'm
too.
looking at Seattle, because that's a big game, right? That's a Thursday night game. I see Seattle beating the Rams. I mean, yeah, Seattle beat the Rams on Thursday night,
Is
and
that
I can see the
tomorrow?
Seattle taking the run. Yeah, tomorrow night.
I'm taking Seattle too.
Yeah, see, I Seattle the Rams. So that puts the Rams in second. So like the Rams would play the Bears if the Bears had to jump down a couple ranks. I think they would be at 7.
You're not lying. You're right.
So that's why this is important for the Bears. Like this weekend is a big important weekend when you look at it's the Rams playing for their tie. The Rams and the Seahawks are playing for their division. The Bears and the Packers are playing for the division. New England's playing the Ravens. Like they might think this is no joke, but this is like the Ravens need this game, and the Pats need this game. Um, I'll get to this question in a second because I noticed it. Did you notice that like Indianapolis has a different logo
No,
next to their name on NFL? Yeah, the
no.
Colts have a C logo with the state of Indianapolis when they're showing Seattle for when they're going to play Seattle, like on the replays.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a
Well,
new C logo with the state
Google
of
it.
Indiana in the middle. So I was like, I know there's new uniforms. Like they have new uniforms for like certain games. Like the Seattle's wearing a new uniform this weekend with wings on
Hmm.
it as they play on Thursday night with the new helmets. So it might correlate with that.
Maybe. I'm looking it
So,
up right now
yeah,
because
no,
I
just
don't really know that.
Yeah, it was like week 5 replays. I'm looking at Indy's logo; it's different. And then when you're even looking up at Indy playing this weekend against San Francisco, you're using the same logo. So I'm like, when did Indy incorporate a new logo?
Um, wait, are you talking about this patch?
It's which one?
The circle?
No,
Because that's for Jim Irsay.
no. I'm on NFL.com, and when you look at the screen, you'll see the logo on Week 15 replays. You'll see the new C logo with the state of Indianapolis in the middle, instead of seeing the horseshoe.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, when you always looked at Indianapolis, you always see the horseshoe.
No. I see. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. How they have it
Yeah,
written here, but like that's not on their helmet or anything.
yeah, no, but they're using it on the graphics though. Like even for the
But
scoreboard, it shows Indy with that logo. I'm just saying, I've never seen that logo before.
that's just the NFL being the NFL. When
Yeah.
you look, if you scroll down, it says Indy and it's got the horseshoe.
No, it doesn't. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. I see. So what I see in Canada, I see a different logo. No, I don't see the horseshoe.
Yeah, no. Look, in the game, it shows like the C, and then
Yeah.
when you scroll down to the standings, it shows the regular
Okay.
Indianapolis. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, but there's these new there's these new jerseys and stuff like that for their new promo or whatever you want to call it.
I
Um,
mean, I'm into it.
I mean, it looks good. It's a good logo. Um, so now for an interesting part of NFL, with more women entertaining like getting into like coaching, officiating and front offices in the NFL in 2025, how is the league's culture evolving beyond the field with women being more interactive in every aspect of the sport?
I have no idea. I have.
Like
I'm not. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea.
I'm just saying, like, now that you see them coaching on the field, officiating, like, now that you see them more. So the Giants hire a female coach. You just,
That's not gonna happen.
I'm saying, what if it happens though?
It's not,
That's what
dude.
I'm talking about. Like,
Half the
how,
teams in the league, the average team in the league, they
okay.
would up until a couple of years ago, most of the teams in the league, they had to force them to even interview a minority. They're not going to interview
Yeah,
a woman. They won't. They won't.
okay.
They won't even
That,
interview all
that,
the
but
dudes.
this is what my question's about. I say, how is this going to evolve the sport because women are going to get a bit
It's
more
not
chances or not? Like, or is it going to stay the same?
to. I mean, like, I'm not sure where you want to go on this, or where like, or what this has to do with moments in 2025. Like,
Because
all
it's
we're gonna do is
because
share our views on this. I don't like. I don't agree with. Uh, I wouldn't. I as a guy, I wouldn't want a female football coach.
okay, but I'm talking about there's been for this year for 2025. There's been some women in football who've been the first ever to like officiate a game. Like it's huge in the moment for them, though. That's what I'm talking about. Like this
For
is
women's rights, it is. I'm sure
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm
that
saying this the
there's
NFL
if I
as a you just said like they wouldn't hire a female coach. Like so if
here's
the
my
league start
point.
hiring
Here's my point,
for
Cove.
female coaches.
There is no conversation about the
Yeah,
moments in sports in 2025 that would
yeah.
have came up. That's not a
Oh,
sports moment. That's an officiating moment.
okay.
To me, that just like I want to talk about like what the athletes did. I don't want to talk
Oh,
about
okay.
women in sports. Like that's leave that to politics. Like that's I don't even know where we're going down this road.
Okay. Um. Okay. Well, to ask, do you follow any NASCAR?
I am not huge in NASCAR. I mean, like I know drivers and such,
Yeah.
but I'm not huge in it. No, I don't like. I don't follow like the circuit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not much as I like. So I was looking over this, and I was like, I saw Kyle Larson claim the 2025 Cup Championship, becoming one of the rare champions to do it without leading a lap in the final race. Like, so I would say, how would this define a title? Defying expectation, like he was second, first second, all the
No,
way to the whole
so
match.
here's it doesn't work like that. So in NASCAR is a point system. They win races. So like by the time they get to that final race,
I know, no,
you
no.
might have
But what I'm
already.
saying is where he placed, it mattered. He was not leading in a single lap, so like where
My
he was not always going to land there.
so here's what I'm saying. It sounds like, and I could be completely wrong. It sounds like he had already scored enough points in the Cup standings where it did not matter that he did not win that race. That's what it sounds like. Like it sounds like that race was not meaningful to hit him in the standings. He had already been so dominant that he didn't need to win that last race. That's what it sounds like. I don't know.
No, no, no.
Again, like I
He needed
said,
to he needed to finish in a certain spot to take the championship. But for the entire race, every lap he was not the leader. Like he had to win that race to win the championship by the points. But during the whole race, he never led a single lap. So he lost. He won the last second, winning the last lap to win enough points to win the championship.
so he won the race.
He won the race, but he had to win the race to win the championship. Like that was where the points led to. He had to
Well,
get first
that's the way it
place
goes,
for
right?
to
So
get enough points. Yeah,
I'm
but he
I'm
did
the
not
huge
lead. But he did not lead a single lap. Like he did not.
okay.
He had to come
So
from
like
behind to
okay, so
win
he
that.
was
To
here,
win
right?
that.
And but he
Yeah.
won. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. To again, this is just another one of those moments to me. Like this isn't
What
that
I'm
much
saying
of a
is
moment to me.
he had to come from behind
I
to win
understand.
this championship.
I
That's what I
understand
mean.
what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. I get it all the way. It just to me,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like I actually Googled top 25 sports moments
Yeah.
and I looked at like 5 different lists. None of
Yeah.
those lists talked about what you're talking about, Cove. I don't know.
Okay.
I gave you my ideas. I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything
I
about
know
NASCAR.
I'm just involving other sports, but like we are getting to stuff that you will love because it would be great for you. So in Formula One, Lando Norris won the championship, ending Verstappen's dominance. So I was saying, like, what would you think this means for the future? Because like Lewis Hamilton won it 7 years in a row, then Max Verstappen won it 5 years in a row, and now Lando Norris out of nowhere wins this championship. Who has raced just as long as like the last few years of Verstappen being a champion?
I, I don't know. I,
Well, I
you're
was giving
asking me
you the
stuff I don't
idea
know.
that yeah, I know.
I,
I'm
I can't
asking you
answer
as
questions on
hearing
things I don't know.
okay.
Like I
So
just I
that's
don't
why I
like
was giving you. Okay, I know. That's why I was saying I was
I
giving you a little
literally
bit.
just don't know. The last time I watched an F1 race was
Hmm.
in in Albert Park in Australia 12 years ago.
Hmm.
I don't know what you like. You're asking me questions I just don't know anything about.
Okay, I was just gonna giving you the information. So like Hamilton still races. He Verstappen, like I said, this is Verstappen versus Hamilton. That's when the crossing of the guards happened because when he lost to Verstappen, it changed his career, and he's never won a championship ever since. Obviously, 5 years in a row, and now Lando Norris, who's been in the league as long as Hamilton and Verstappen have been in, as long as he's been in, he's raced against these two guys. So like his whole career, either guy has won a championship. Now he's finally, after like 7 years, finally won a championship. Like I, so it seems like the culture is changing. That as these guys get younger, that's when they should get their championship runs because now Hamilton is a lot older, Verstappen's a lot older, but Lando is still young. So it's like saying, as long as you stay young, you'll win these championships. As you age, you won't win as many championships. But it was a huge moment. I don't know if it landed on your top 25 for this one, but this was not Red Bull. This was not Mercedes winning it. Like this was a company that hasn't won it in 20 years and won a championship.
Oh,
What?
what company?
And Lando Norris. Oh, fuck, where does he race for? Oh, fuck. Oh, jeez, why am I forgetting it at the moment? He's
Because
a
it's
top.
not that big of a moment.
I can't think of the team. Oh, I've smoked way too much weed to remember the name
No,
of
no. You want to know what's a
McLaren.
big moment? Want to know what's a big moment in
McLaren.
sports? It,
McLaren.
he races for McLaren.
McLaren.
So
They
okay.
haven't won a championship since the 90s. So this is the first
What?
championship since the 90s for McLaren in F1. And they won the constructors championship with combined points between both racers. So they won the most points for a team and the championship in the same individual year for the first time in 20 plus years.
Okay. So no, I'm just gonna. The last time they won a title was in 2008, and it was for Lewis Hamilton won it for them.
Really, Hamilton won I did not mean know he won one for the McLaren. So yeah, but that's almost 20 years though.
I've actually been. I've driven a McLaren, and I've actually been
Yeah.
to the McLaren office in England. And it was kind of random. I was there on like a work trip, and I got to sit at the conference.
But
And we did
that's
this
17.
huge.
Okay, it's 17 years. 17 years since they won a championship. So that's a long time for a team to win a championship.
Okay, I'm not arguing with
As
that.
you're as McLaren. Oh, so you're saying one with Lewis Hamilton won his first with McLaren, and then the rest we won with Mercedes, and then Red Bull won 5 straight. So McLaren first in 17 years. Like that would be a big moment though. First championship in 17 years in such a dominant by two teams who've led racing in the last 12.
Okay, I'm not arguing. You're probably right. It sounds like a
Yeah.
huge moment. I just don't know a lot about it.
Okay,
I'm
so
American, so like I
yes.
focus on American sports.
So now we got it on to you. For boxing, which 2025 fight deserves the biggest global impact, and how has boxing reclaimed mainstream relevance this year?
Well, okay, so that's a loaded question. So everyone knows Canelo Crawford was the big fight this year.
Mhm.
Boxing is now accessible to people on things like Netflix, it's everywhere. Boxing never went anywhere though. It just became more mainstream again. They started talking about it on ESPN and all that stuff again. That's really what
Mhm.
happened. It just became more mainstream. But yeah, that was the boxing's big moment in 2025. It's a series of moments, right? It's Canelo and Crawford, the build up to that fight happening on September 13th, and then that all culminating yesterday with the 42-0 three-time undisputed champion Terrence Bud Crawford retiring. So that was it was a huge moment. So like as a boxing person, right?
Mhm.
The first time in the last 10 years that Canelo was not ranked in the top 10 pound for pound boxers in the world was was I don't know, this year after that fight. Um so like for a boxing fan, it was a huge moment. You know, you only get that. That's one of those things you look for in sports. That's like uh, Sugar Ray Leonard moving up in weight to fight marvelous Marvin Hagler in the 80s. You get these super fights where a super mega star moves up to fight another superstar. It was a huge moment. It was awesome. I was there for that moment too. So it was really cool. Very special one for me. 100%.
Mm. Um, who in women's boxing broke through in 2025 and delivered a moment that could rewrite the sport's trajectory?
Well, so I think that women's boxing as a sport, as a whole, I think women's boxing had a huge, like, its inflection point was 2024, 2025, where like the sport's gotten huge notoriety, large in part to Jake Paul, Most V Promotions, right? So he went and got Amanda Serrano, and from there, he's basically built a stable of all female fighters. He gets them paid really well, gets them really good opportunities, gets the marketing, sponsorship, everything else. So it went from one of these things where like you didn't really hear a lot about women's boxing to like it being talked about in the mainstream, right? On Friday night, the co-main event, so the fight before Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, will be a champion who is signed to Jake's Most V Promotions. Her name is Alicia Baumgartner. She's a champion. She's a stud. She's a very exciting fighter to watch. So that'll be a good one. But yeah, no. So women's boxing as a whole, it isn't. There have been a couple of so Katie Taylor, one of the best fighters to do it. There's Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields is like already an all-time great, and she's probably less than 20 fights into her career. Amanda Serrano. So there's been a lot of movement in women and female boxing, but specifically just like as a whole, the sport has gotten a lot more eyes on it. It's getting a lot more big fights, and it's starting to draw better or more athletic females, because I think that that's really where the problem in women's boxing comes from. There just aren't as many talented, very athletic female boxers out there in all the weight classes. So now it's starting to fill out a little more because it's gotten a lot more eyes on it. There's starting to be more money poured into it. A lot of good things happening. There'll be a lot of good women's fights on Friday night on the Jake Paul card on Netflix. You guys are all going to be watching it anyway. Don't lie.
I might.
I'll definitely watching it. I'll be watching the whole day.
Oh my god! So I threw a couple
I know
in for
this isn't a sport, but it's sports entertainment.
Yeah.
2025, it would be irresponsible of me as a fan of sports entertainment. ESPN even airs this stuff nowadays, to not acknowledge John Cena, the most decorated WWE star of all time, going on his farewell tour and retiring. That was definitely a moment. And he turned. So Cena was always a big good guy in WWE, and he turned quote heel. He became a bad guy for a part of the year. So I think that John Cena definitely deserves a big spot in that top 25 for his farewell tour, for his heel turn, for his 17th championship title or heavyweight championship title. That was a cool one for me.
Oh, I'm kind of glad I missed it live. Like I watched it the next day just because I don't know, I was just busy that night.
The last fight?
Yeah.
Oh.
The last two.
Gunther? Oh my god.
Dom and Gunther. Yeah, I watched them, but I watched them after it went live. And I don't follow anything wrestling to see any spoilers of how it ends. And I just wait till the next day to watch it. I don't know why. I always just wait till the next day to watch wrestling. It's just, I don't know. It's just always been a thing.
I watch Monday Night Raw on Tuesday morning.
Yeah. I always watch it the next day. I just don't. I don't know. No matter what it is, it could be early on. Like they had an event early on where it was like 8 in the morning because it was like the crown jewel or whatever. It was on at 8 in the morning. I'm like, no. I want it early, but not that early.
Well,
Kind of
see,
deal.
I'm on West Coast time, so all of our sporting events are early. Like a long day of sports for me starts at like 8 in the morning, but it's done at like
Yeah.
7, 8 at night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
which is
yeah,
perfect. I go to bed early.
uh, so for this quick one, Inter Miami CF lifted the 2025 MLS Cup, led by superstar playmaking and like I
Leo
would say, what
Messi.
was their turn? What?
Leo Messi.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, so I was like saying, what was their turnout point of their playoff run? But it basically probably was Messi, was it not?
I mean, that's what I would like. That's what I would think.
Mhm.
Oh, hold
But
on.
I did not see a lot of highlights. Like I seen them win the championship, but I didn't see a lot of highlights of their goals of the year. So like I didn't see a lot of like big moments.
You know,
Like
and
they won a game. Was it like a crazy goal to win a game? Like don't think I saw much coverage for it.
you know what it is? It really it speaks more than anything to just the lack of and not always like it's out there. You have to go look for it, but like it's not just covered by the major media outlets where you
Yeah.
see it all the time, right? Like you might get one soccer play here and there in like your top 10 on Sports Center, right? But you don't
Yeah.
really see
Yeah.
that. It's not, for the most part, they're not really covering it, and it's not really drawing a focus like that. The only reason they
Yeah.
even pay attention to that team at all is because of Leo Messi.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
that
just one of
goes
those things.
with my second question, though. The go with it kind of thing is: has MLS grown in U.S. visibility in 2025 compared to previous seasons? Like, I don't see any better than it was any the other year. Like,
Um,
I see MLS because I have an Apple subscription. Like when I because I have Apple TV, I see MLS. But that's the only part I ever see it.
so right, and maybe it's different because it's messy this time, but okay, so like if you go back and like if you're a fan of football, if you're a fan of soccer, right? There was when the Red Bulls went out and got Thierry Henry. There was
Mm,
when Orlando went and got Roberto Kaká. There was when the LA Galaxy went and got David Beckham. Like we've had
mm,
these moments before. Those were
mm.
all superstars internationally in the sport at the time.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, Leo's the biggest of the superstars. Like he's next level, right? So it's definitely given more, but the going out and getting a superstar from the Euro leagues and bringing them here, it's been done. It's been done multiple times. The growing the sport in our country, really, what it takes, it's got to be from the ground up. But
Mm,
and it's really more about like the Pee Wee leagues and the accessibility to play the sport for kids.
mm,
That's really where it starts. Um, at least in my opinion. But um, because like it's just not more exciting than a football, right? It's not more exciting than the other products. So you got to get people into it somehow.
mm,
But I think it's gotten somewhat more for like compared to like when MLS started. I definitely think it's gotten bigger
mm,
for sure. Like you can go to you can go to like a random Target or Kohl's here in Las Vegas in Nevada, and like they'll have a Leo Messi Inter Miami shirt
mm.
for no other, for no, and it's them because it's the pink jersey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um. So, as for the NBA, the Las Vegas Aces went 25 NBA Finals, led by Anja Wilson, It cemented their dynasty. What made this championship run special for them, or is
I
what
don't know what
you
made it
expected
special for
of
them.
Las Vegas?
I know what made it special for me being a Las Vegas resident.
Okay.
So people out here really love this
Mhm.
team. And I think that that's what like, so maybe on a national level, women's sports are not that huge. Women's basketball has gotten somewhat bigger in recent years with the additions of people like Caitlin Clark, et cetera, blah, 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 blah. But this city specifically gives a huge fan base to the Las Vegas Aces, and they really support the team huge. And so I think that like going out and winning and bringing championships to this city is kind of a special thing for them because they understand how they've got it and like how this city is really behind them. And so I think it's a pretty cool relationship between the athletes and the city.
So Wilson became the first WNBA player to combine the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP in one season. How does that performance go down for that league?
I mean, that's like that puts her on like Jordan on like a Jordan tier, right? Like,
Hmm.
right? There's only so many players who have done that in men's basketball,
Yeah.
right? So,
Does that moment get in your top 25? Her doing that?
I mean, to me, I think that she's a spectacular. It, right. So I probably rattled off like 15 to 20 of them to you right off rip earlier today.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Hearing this one, like this is a good one though. This is definitely a good one for the top 25, I think. Um, that's like a historic feat that she achieved. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like there may be in the next 50 years, there may be two other women who do that, three other women who do that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not like go Google how many men have done that, bro. Like that's a really like, yeah, that's a prime time stat right there.
Mhm.
That's some Michael Jordan type shit for real. Like
So this one
literally.
I'll just ask. Now, it is a big moment for, and I only have like two more of these questions asked for. It's basically including women before we get to everybody for like the last moments or whatever. But Minnesota Frost secured their second straight PWHL Walter Cup, adding another major step for women's hockey. It's the league's only lasted 3 years and they've won back to back championships. So how do you, knowing this, like how do you think that would, transition the landscape for women's hockey? With Minnesota winning two of the last three championships of that's this league existed.
I'm going to be completely honest. The only reason I knew women's hockey was a thing is because of the Capital One, I think it is, credit card commercial here in
Yeah.
the US. And the guy like takes his daughter to play hockey. I was like,
Yeah.
what the heck? I didn't even know girls played hockey.
Hmm.
Real talk.
So,
So
so with me saying Minnesota's won two of the last three, how would you define that for a team coming into the next season that's starting like now? Like, would you think that Minnesota is the that team to beat because they won two out of three?
I would think so, but okay, so like I would challenge just like with any other league, how many teams are in the league?
10.
10. So probably, but it's a small pool, right? And so
Yeah, it's small ball.
I'll throw some shade right now. There's only 10 teams, right? It's
Yeah,
not like a 30 team league. So
yeah.
yeah, I would think they should be the favorite.
Hmm. Um, they just made it big for women's sports because it's like there's not a lot. They up until the PWHL, there was only the WNBA, so it was a big moment for them for sure. Um, and the last one that has to do with the women is so this is a moment because it's we are talking about a sport that is 130 years old that's been male dominated and that they officially announced that in 2026, but they announced it now, four teams, Boston, New York, LA, and San Francisco, will be the first ever women's four league baseball for the one season because they're testing the market to see how it works. So it's a moment for women in baseball because it's been 130 years before they've been able to play anything professional.
Well, I mean, not anything professional.
Like that's considered a professional league. Yeah, this is the first ever professional league. Like,
Professional baseball league you're talking
yeah,
about specifically.
yeah, yeah,
Well, and
professional
that's
baseball league.
okay. And it's cool. It's very cool. It sounds very interesting. I don't really know what else to make out of it besides that. This goes to this. This is like another. This is a loaded question. This goes into politics. This is a whole different thing. You know, women played softball when I was a kid growing up. They didn't play baseball. What like,
Yeah,
I don't have another answer for that. Like I can't really talk about it
the
from
the
sports.
the, re- the reason why I'm not going to ask is like, do you think it's? And I'm not trying to be loaded in this way. I play baseball my whole life. I've seen girls throw, play with men for fun, right? Anyways, but is this another one that like is this another sport where like okay, yeah, we could put women together with men, but we just
No,
want to separate it because we
no,
have
men and
to?
women should not compete. Men and
Yeah.
women physically, athletically are different specimens. Absolutely
Mhm.
should not be competing against each other.
So, okay. So across all leagues this year, what moment do you think most broke through mainstream sports coverage using all sports?
Broke. I don't. I mean, broke through to me would be Canelo and Crawford because
Yeah.
Stephen A. literally. So Crawford retired. Stephen A. on his show today highlighted the next boxer that he says is going to take Crawford's place. That wouldn't
Yeah.
have happened last year. That wouldn't have
But
happened
okay,
2 years ago.
what I'm more asking like, okay, that's your number one, but what's your number two? Using any sport, like, what is your number two moment that broke through for you? That's not Canelo.
Okay, let me just. I'm going to pull my list out now. So he's asking the question. I gave this guy 20 answers earlier, so I'm going to pull my list out now. We're
But
going
I'm
to just go to
asking
my
you,
list.
which one's your number two moment? Canelo's your number one. What's your number
I don't.
two moment of all these moments?
You know what? I just have moments. They're really like Canelo's really not number one to me. It's just a great moment in sports.
Oh, okay.
It's.
Okay.
I don't care about what 1 through 25. They're just amazing moments, and I just picked out 20, 25 great moments in sports this year. So
Mhm.
guys, here's a moment that I thought was amazing, and this, as an American, this is outlandish. President Trump announcing that the UFC is going to host a fight card on the White House lawn. That is a
Mhm.
wild moment in sports in 2025, right?
Mhm.
An amazing, right? You wanted to talk about females. The second thing I sent you highlighted a woman in sports, and you jumped right over it. Coco Gauff actually won the French Open this year, and she dominated
Mhm.
it. To
Yeah.
me, that was a huge moment. Lane
That's where this
Kiffin.
question is. Like, give me. Well, I said number two, but like, I'm just saying, like, this is like a second question across all sports. Like, give me Give me. This is where I'm saying, give me your moments that you want to
I'm
talk
giving you
about.
moments,
Okay.
moment
Yeah.
by moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're asking me to single out one. I thought we were doing 25 for 2025. Another
Yes.
huge moment to me, Lane Kiffin leaving to go to LSU and leaving his students behind. The moment highlights the problems with the NCAA, and it highlights that that guy is not really too great of a guy. It is what it is. Let's see. Uh, Not okay. So the Knicks winning the NBA Cup, but not really the Knicks winning the NBA Cup in general. Big moment because if you listen to the players talk about it, they've bought in. So now the
Mhm.
fans are buying in, and so everyone's excited about it. It's a fun
Yeah.
thing to watch. It's a fun little in-season tournament now. So I like that. Uh, the worst moment of our 25 moments, and I think that this could be number two. It's awful, but it stands out more than any of them. Marshawn Nealon
Mhm.
taking his own life. Um, Terrible moment in sports in 2025. but I think that it's something that should be used to highlight men's mental health, because a lot of times, like, it's a very overlooked thing. We're not going to get into all of it right now, but
Yeah.
if you ever need to talk, guys, message me. I'm out there, because that is not the way.
Yeah,
Shador
that goes
Sanders,
along with what for a second there, because you're just on that topic of it. Like Casey's case, the LSU kid that was singled out for a death that he wasn't responsible, and he took his own life.
yeah. And listen,
So we had two of those moments, in one in college football going into the draft, and one player playing for the Dallas Cowboys. We lost two young men to mental health
yeah,
in
and
moments.
listen, and that's just what we know about, right? Like, it happens every day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
another, and now this isn't one moment. This is a series of ridiculous moments over 2025 that almost made me feel like the NBA was scripted, because how could this have all happened? It was like a soap opera. So we wake up
Oh
one
yes.
morning and we find out Luka Doncic, the mega star, number 1, 2, or 3 best player in the NBA for the last several years, has been traded overnight in the cloak of darkness for Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Now, after all that blows over, magically, the Dallas Mavericks also win the lottery, and they get the Cooper Flag draft pick just months after trading Luka Doncic. What? How are
Yeah.
you kidding me? And then it all culminates in Dallas fans hating Nico Harrison so much and sending death threats to him, yada, 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 and him ultimately being fired and ran out of town. It was a series of things that happened, but I think that, like, that was a crazy one, 100%. Because Cooper Flex, right? So you just highlighted, right? The same young man, he is a, quote, generational talent. He came in the league 20 years after LeBron and immediately broke LeBron's 37-point as an 18-year-old record. Or he came into the league 23 years after LeBron, or whatever it is. LeBron's been in the league since I was a kid. I don't know how. He's my age, but he's been playing pro basketball for 30 years. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Totally lost on that. But the Cleveland Browns finally drafting Shador Sanders. 5th, right? Shador Sanders sliding 5 rounds in the draft. I mean, the whole Shador Sanders thing, right? I think that was a pretty good sports moment. I like Shador. I like Shador's personality a little bit. I think it was a little outrageous. And then finding out that his father, who was there for him through this whole process, former NFL legend, Colorado coach Deion Primetime Sanders, was secretly going through and battling cancer the whole time that this was happening. It just added to the whole story, right? So I think that was a pretty crazy one for 2025. NBA. What about Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier getting arrested for the big gambling scandal? Like, and then you go back and you watch the NBA videos, and you watch sometimes, because we've all bet on these prop bets, and just watch these guys throw them, and we're like, oh my God, is somebody investigating this dude? And now it turns out that they really are doing all these terrible things. That was another huge one. There were a ton of huge moments, I feel like, this year. That's my point, right? I think that this has been an excellent year for tons of huge moments, both good and bad. You're a hockey fan. What's my guy's name? The goalie himself, Fleury. Fleury retired.
Retires.
Like, I think that's a huge moment for hockey folks, right? The birth of a dynasty. Fleury retires. Ovechkin with the goals. That was a moment, right? So, I think there were some good ones. I don't know. I might have given it 30 already. Who knows? But, I like sports. I like good sports moments. That's the point. John Jones retired from UFC. but allegedly he wants to come
Mhm.
back to fight in the Donald Trump UFC card. Like this, it's cinema. I love it. You can't beat that.
Uh,
So I think for me at least, right? I think those are the
mhm.
biggest moments that I had listed. Um, and then yeah, I think like we said, Crawford retiring to me because that came out of left field, so that was a big one. But then OKC, and we talked about it before. You said they're on pace right now to have 6 losses through the season. Um, this like I said it to somebody the other day, and they were like, "But you grew up in the Jordan era." Um, this is the best basketball team I've ever watched play basketball. It's phenomenal. I don't know how other people feel about it, but like I love like I'd be looking for my OKC games. Like I don't miss those. I watch
So
OKC.
so yeah, like to go over some of them. Like so yeah, like this is just one of many random lists. I'm gonna go 25 down to see what like these pro writers are writing about. You have President Trump announcing UFC event as being a top moment. Coco Gauff wins French Open. Yeah. Lane Kiffin leaving LSU. Sanchez assault delivery man story.
Oh, dude, that okay. So remember when that broke, and everybody thought like
Yes.
maybe something happened to Mark Sanchez, and then we find out that
Mhm.
he assaulted the other guy, and I was like, oh my good dude, that story was kind of
Um, Jerry Jones guests on Michael Irving's podcast. That must have been
what
one.
what
I
is he
never heard
doing on
it,
there?
but
Why would anyone
it's just
care about it? Oh, he's awful. Jerry Jones, like he's a marketing machine. I'll never be better than him at anything. So don't take this the wrong way, Jerry Jones. But oh my God, who would imagine going to a podcast to listen to Jerry Jones speak?
yeah. um, yeah. This is Nafi Collier Esther's the WNBA commissioner. I guess her press conference.
Nafisa, Nafisa Collier.
Yeah, her
Oh,
press conference was apparently a huge moment of
okay.
2025.
So she called out the WNBA and the director about the pay disparity, and they did this
Mhm.
whole thing, but she sounded like a real bozo because she cited like she was one of the I don't know, like a bunch of these women who like they bully Caitlin Clark on the court, right? But then when they were
Yeah,
bringing up the pay disparity, they immediately want to cite all the new fans and what Caitlin Clark brings to the table to make their
yeah,
case. So, like, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I omitted that on purpose. You're yeah.
yeah. So we have Marshawn Nealon dying, and we were talking about Casey dying.
That's
Talked
a
about that one.
You know what else? You know what I think is a good one that we didn't add. And
Mhm.
this is actually you know what? Why am I bringing all the hockey ones? Um, what about Carter? Um,
Carter's return, yes.
yeah,
I wouldn't
Carter's
put it in the top
return.
25 moments, but I would just, it's a moment more or less, but
It
it's
probably
not
feels like a
something.
bigger moment for me because I live in Las Vegas. So
Yeah,
like it's in my face. You know what I mean? So to
yeah.
me, I think it's big, but it's really not. That's
Here's
fair.
one. Duke's epic Final Four collapse.
Oh, that was awful, actually. That was a pretty, you know what? That was a pretty bad moment. It that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Um, Dylan Dennis brawl at UF 322.
No, forget that guy, Dylan Dennis. That guy's he's like a he's actually really good at Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but like he's really more of like a social media influencer, like part-time jerk off kind of guy. Like, yeah.
So this one is kind of on what you said. Cleveland Browns draft Shador, but the moment is his draft slide.
Well, so it's so crazy, right? Because He slid from like they were talking who was going to be the number one pick in the draft, Shador Sanders or Cam Ward.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, forget the first
Mm-hmm.
pick in the draft, forget the first round. Now we're in round 2. We're at pick 50. Now we're at pick 80. Now we're in round 4. Round 5. Did you see Dylan Gabriel? Dylan Gabriel, excuse me. And like, no offense, Dylan. Like you look like a very nice young man. You're not an NFL quarterback. Like, that would be like shooting me up and being like, he's an NFL quarterback. No, he's not. No, he's not. He might look a little athletic, but he's not an NFL quarterback. Like, go ahead. It's like that whole thing. And then
so you have
go.
Yeah. So so then you have the Mavericks winning the Cooper Flag lottery. So you got that moment for sure.
Well, but
Carlos
that was important
Alcaraz.
because of the situation. It's all about the fact that how did they trade Luka, and then just by the grace of God, they won the lottery and got Cooper Flag. Like,
Yeah.
very suspect. Very suspect.
Alcaraz wins the French Open. So both French Open winners were talked about this year.
Yeah. Well, okay, so he's so dominant right now. That really wasn't that big of a moment. That's why I didn't include it, because I expect Carlos Alcaraz to win the French Open. Coco Gauff, I did not expect to win. It was a surprise, a pleasant one as an American, of course. That's why I included that one. And my wife played tennis at UNLV, and she loves her. That too.
LeBron James confronting Stephen A. Smith.
Yo, if there's going to be a moment,
where are you ranking LeBron, that?
If there's going to be a moment for LeBron James, we would have to dial it back to before last season started, and it would have to be. Did it happen? It would have to be. I don't know. I don't know if it was 2025 yet, but getting his son drafted. What? How did that? Like his son? That was it. I guess that was the year before, right? That was already a year in, but because of his, I guess because he got him drafted, that was what led to that, right? So you remember this whole video, and then it was all over, and it was like 3 days of national ESPN BS media of Stephen A. talking about how I don't care about, me and LeBron, and he's next in the paper, but we don't, talking this whole mess, being Stephen A. and being too much. I love it.
Yeah. PSG wins the Champions League. Dear Douay UCL final. He was a 19-year-old kid, and he assisted the first goal and scored the next 2 goals to help PSG win the Championship League on a 5-0 route.
It was crazy. It was actually crazy. That game was not supposed to happen like that. If you know the game and you follow it, their whole improbable run in the quarters, the semis, and the way that they won in the finals was just bananas. I agree with that one. PSG winning is definitely a huge moment for world sport. That's a big one. That's a good one.
Now this could be an interesting one. Game 4 of the National League Championship Series, the Ohtani game. The one where Ohtani won the game. No one else did. It was just Ohtani.
The 3 home runs.
He hit 3 home runs and threw 10 games.
Yeah.
The 10 strikes.
It was one of the greatest, individual game performances we'll probably ever see. I couldn't remember what series it was in, but I knew that it happened. I was thinking about that today. Yeah. Yeah, the NLCS game
Yeah.
4. That was bananas. That was bananas. Yeah. He was averaging 5.5 strikeouts at the point at which he threw 10.
Yeah. So
Bananas.
it was just phenomenal.
Of
And you
course.
have number 10, Crawford Alvarez gets in the top 10 moments of 2025. John Cena turning heel is number 9.
That's pure soup.
Um, Pablo Torre breaks the Kwani Leonard scandal
Oh yeah.
on podcast.
I mean, yeah, they seem to have brushed right over that. So they're not.
Yeah.
He's playing basketball. Nothing happened. I don't know.
Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Oh, they show this guy falling and grabbing the floor. Ah,
Yeah.
Halliburton. Oh, too bad for that
Yeah,
guy.
Halliburton.
No love lost.
Game
They shouldn't even.
6 of Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1.
Game
The
one
opening
was
game.
crazy. Game one.
Yeah.
That last 90 seconds of basketball was insanity.
This will be interesting. Hulk Hogan dying. This is number 5.
Whether you like Hogan or not, he was an icon for so long. You
Mhm.
can go back to exhibitions with him and Muhammad Ali, okay, in the 80s. Like
Yeah.
my
He was
entire life.
my Yeah. We're the same age, and since I was about 5 years old, I remember Hulk Hogan. So almost 40 years of my life, it was Hogan.
And that's only because you just don't remember him before that. He was there.
Yeah,
We just don't
there
remember
before
him
that.
that far. I can
Yeah,
only remember him to about 1990, 1988, give or take. But
yeah. Me, it was Hogan versus Rocky. Hogan
yeah,
Rocky was
Thunder
yeah,
Lips
yeah,
in the Rocky movie. Yeah, that's right. He had
yeah,
he started like, oh yeah, he had hair and everything. That was crazy.
yeah. Super Bowl was number 4 with the Eagles winning.
And so like listen, this is one more of these things, right? So with right? So Crawford retiring after the fact makes the Canelo Crawford thing so much more big as a moment. This, right? This becomes such a bigger moment, I think, because of the context.
Mhm.
You know? No?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, 100%. Um, and the rest come down to pretty much what we know, and it's not surprising. Number 3 being the NBA gambling arrests. Number 2 being the Game 7 of the World Series, and the number 1 being the Luka Doncic trade.
The
Like
Luka Doncic
everybody
trade,
has that.
bro. Like, I mean, like, think about that. Like, I don't even know. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, when you think back now, you're like, there's no way. That's the whole thing is that because we've had months to see everything unfold, and now we're looking at him
Mhm.
and he's like lighter, he's playing amazing basketball, and we're like, what were these guys thinking? Like, what was the what was the plan here? Was Nico just sabotaging the Dallas Mavericks? Like, I don't understand. Very crazy. That was like after that, I wouldn't be surprised if Pat Mahomes got traded.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm going too far.
Ah, but it's fun. I find it interesting. Like now, I'm just thinking of top 25s as we're just talking, right? And I'm gonna look at interesting. I'll give you a few names. So it's F1. Like there's just the top 25 athletes of 2025. Like people that did something amazing this year for the I don't know to be on this list, which was Oscar Piastri is like he is the backup driver for Lando Norris, and he helped win the championship. Like he got in third place or whatever. Like this is the best he's ever raced in his entire life. So yeah, he's on the list. Josh Giddey's on the list as the number 2 player for 2025, and I find that one interesting.
Josh
Like,
Giddey.
why would you put him as the Josh Giddey
Why wouldn't it be? Why
in the
wouldn't it
top
be?
25?
If number one's not SGA, then it doesn't even make sense because there's no way you're putting
Yeah,
Josh Giddey over SGA.
yeah, that's it. Says what? Oh, okay. Oh, that was the interesting one. Oh, interesting. You gave me a weird twist for a second. Top Australian athletes.
Oh,
I was
okay. I
like,
was like, wait a
what?
minute. I was gonna say, yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I was
I didn't know
like,
he was, I didn't know he was Australian. That's interesting. I haven't heard him
or it
talk.
was an Australian, or it was an Australian like ranking. You know what I mean?
Ah, got it.
Aussie athletes ranking. Who takes the crown? Right. So, oh, okay. Well, I'll give you the more interesting now. Okay. Top 25 athletes of 2025. And this is no ranking. They're just saying this is the top 25 people they're talking about. So you got Lionel Messi,
Of
of
course.
course, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Simone Biles is apparently still being talked about in many
Uh-huh.
ways. Uh Novak Dvorak, the tennis player.
Novak Djokovic. That's the
Yeah.
tennis
Serena
star.
Williams. Yeah. Serena Williams, Cristiano Ronaldo, Usain Bolt, Katie Ledecky in swimming, LeBron
That's so
James,
crazy. What?
Naomi Osaka in tennis. That's top 10. Those are the top 10 apparently people being talked about this year. A lot of. It just depends on where you're talking about them and who's talking about them, right? Like if
Yeah.
everybody say in a higher population is talking about tennis, it's gonna seem like they're going to be talked about the most, right?
Yeah, that's a
Where
fact.
it's led by, yeah. So like it said top 25, but I was like, what the? I'm not going down the list. I'm like, I don't see anybody else on the list. I'm like, wow. Oh, that's the 10 most. See, it tells me one thing, and then it's like goes to something else for like lists. Complex was the best list for that one. For test 25 moments because they pretty much nailed it for most 25 moments. There's some that like you're like, mm, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Um, Here's an interesting question. How will sports evolve in 2025 for 2026? Like, do you think anybody really evolves how we play sports or how we look at sports? Like with baseball going with automated for umpiring. Like,
We're just gonna see like
where do you
that's
see us go?
so exactly what where you're going with this is we're just gonna see the addition of more AI, more camera, more they're just gonna automate and computerize more of the processes as they go. That's all. Like everything else in life.
um. Oh, okay. Here's some. I found some other ones that we might have not talked about because I was like key highlights. So let's see what I got here. And the few I got here. PSG winning. Roy McIlroy's Grand Slam.
I was trying to think like when you were saying the most talked about athletes, I'm going, what's this cat? I was literally just looking up the golfer because it's Rory McIlroy and then his big nemesis DeChambeau or something like that.
Mhm, mhm.
Whoa, big time, huh, honey? Hey, hold on, who's that? Come here. Say hi. Whoa, 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 whoa! Don't be trying to reach the computer. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. Say hi to everybody, Sophina. Boom. All right, Sophina, get out of here. Go do your thing. Go bother mommy. Nah, she's not hearing it. She's about to run down now. Can you hear her?
Yeah.
Okay, what time we got here? 7:45. So so like one of the things that like it's weird, right? We don't talk much about golf, but like legitimately the radio okay, so I listen to what's it called? Unsportsmanlike.
Yeah.
It's an ESPN show. And
Yeah.
on that show, they always talk about these guys and they always give like the updates on this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm very limited in my I like the sports leagues and I like fighting,
Mhm.
but there's the PGA tour and then they also have live golfing. So they have like different leagues for it now. So I think golf has become much bigger, much more mainstream.
Yes. Golf was mainstream in 2000s because Tiger, then it died off a little bit. Then Roy kind of picked it back up. So it's been a few years for sure for golf to get a champion like him. So it's like, yeah, when I had to look at I'm like, yeah, I forgot about the Royal McIlroy because remember we were talking about it too when it was happening. It was like, what? I think we were live during it when it was actually happening, and
Definitely
it was just
possible.
so like I don't know. It was like so. I mean, there was a lot of moments. Like I love when they do like. Now this will be the only question we got is normally we get the top 25 moments of 2025 by now or right around Christmas.
Yep.
But would you classify that we shouldn't have it till at least after December 31st to be clarified because anything amazing could happen in between the time that they show it and the end of the year? Or do you
Listen,
classify that going into 2026?
we could absolutely do this different, but um no. I mean, here's how I see it, right? We just summed up our years, right? Now, the only places that we would see something crazy, crazy, crazy where it would be so impactful, I think, would be right now, like the college football playoff
Mhm.
is right now but I don't think there's going to be that much meaningful sport in this little time frame that it's
Well,
going to be a
I gave you that one fun fact. If Oklahoma beats Alabama, being the first team in 130 years to beat Alabama twice in the same season.
um what's going to be big to me is not going to be that it's the 130 the last time it's happened to Alabama, like that doesn't matter to me. What's going to matter to me is more about the context now and like what Oklahoma's doing.
Mhm.
um that's really where my focus is on it, and like the college, because and then you right, if they lose then you look at the whole process and you say, well, there are so many teams, like there were multiple teams that were bumped out because they felt that Alabama and their brand should be there, even though they took those losses that they did. But now they went and lost again. Maybe it was the wrong answer. So I would be looking at this a whole different way.
Okay.
I still can't, bro.
Um,
Every time I look at my screen, the first thing I do is read this ridiculous. Do you people see there's 150? Did all 153 of you guys read what it says under Cove's name? 7 inches of Cove tonight. Who is this guy? I'm over here putting my daughter on camera, hugging. I'm being a dad, being a good guy. This guy's over here. What are you even doing over here, bro? This is ridiculous. Bro, I can't
can't
get over this.
can't get snow. You can't get snow references, right? A snow
Bro,
reference. Where's your head at?
I'm American, bro. All right. I don't know what's going on up there in Canada. But around here, if somebody says 7 inches of them, then it sounds kind of crazy. All right. Hey, yo.
Yeah. Well, I can go outside and show you 7 inches. So,
All right. So anyway, so there were a lot of exciting moments over the course of 2025. Hopefully, we're going to get 1 or 2 more, right, to kind of wrap up the year. And then when we come back, because obviously next week it will be Christmas Eve and Christmas on Wednesday and Thursday, and then the week after will be what New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
yeah.
So it may be a few days before you guys see us back here on Vinny's Corner or on no off season, right? We got a couple of weeks ahead of us potentially. We'll figure something out in between now and then. Maybe we can do one pop up for a couple hours like this. Would be a good one.
Yeah. The one thing I was just gonna add for quickly is the people, like, I'm gonna say, because it's 2025, like, we lost a few athletes. There's a few names, right? There's Brian Matsuds. He was a pitcher for like the Orioles, whatever. Um then we lost Bob Ucker, or I think that was his last name. Dick Button, Virginia McCaskey, George Foreman, we lost him. Octavio Dotel, Tony Blanco, Felix Baumgartner. We talked about Hogan. We lost Ryan Sandberg. Nealon, we talked about him, and Lenny Wilkins this year.
Yeah, so you named somebody that was a sports commentator and you said his name a little strange. So for anyone that didn't know what he was just saying there, Bob Uecker.
Uecker, yeah, I know. I said after
The famous Bob Uecker. That was the guy.
Yes.
That guy talked baseball. Oh my God. Yeah, no, you're right. It was one of those years. We lost some legends in sport. Some new legends were made. I think that's a part of what it is. So, but for me, at least, the biggest thing is just wishing everybody a happy holiday season, a safe one, and saying thank you guys for tuning in to us. As always, over the course of this year, it's been pretty cool. I appreciate that. What about yourself? You got anything else to leave them with?
Not too much. Like you had already said, it's going to be a couple weeks. We're all with friends and family over the holidays and special stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll be back when we get back. I guess maybe in the new year, maybe for a few hours in between.
For sure, I'm thinking about something maybe like next week, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Everybody have a safe and happy holiday. Happy New Year if we don't see you guys before then. And otherwise, we'll check you back here on Vinny's Corner in 2026. Take care. Yo, that was fun.